Have you ever sat in front of your computer, knowing exactly what you need to do, understanding every single step, fully aware that the deadline is approaching, and yet you simply can't start? You scroll your phone, you organize your desk, you make another coffee, you promise yourself you'll begin in 5 minutes, then suddenly it's evening, nothing is done, and you're asking yourself the same painful question: if I'm so smart, why can't I just start? If you've experienced this, you're not lazy, you're not broken, and you're certainly not alone. This is one of the biggest hidden struggles of adults with ADHD, especially highly intelligent adults. Today, we're going to explore what I call the High-IQ ADHD Trap, why executive dysfunction makes starting tasks so incredibly difficult, and how understanding your ADHD brain can completely change the way you approach work and life. Before we continue, if you enjoy practical science-based ADHD strategies designed specifically for intelligent adults, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future videos that can help you understand your brain and finally work with it instead of against it. Let's begin. The most frustrating ADHD symptom isn't distraction. Most people believe ADHD is about being distracted. Yes, distraction is part of ADHD. But for many adults, the biggest challenge isn't staying focused, it's getting started. This is called task initiation, and it's one of the executive functions most commonly affected by ADHD. Executive functioning is the brain's management system. It helps you plan, organize, prioritize, manage time, regulate emotions, and perhaps most importantly, it helps you begin. People without ADHD often think starting a task is simply a decision. For someone with ADHD, starting can feel like trying to push a car with the parking brake still engaged. You desperately want to move, but something invisible keeps holding you back. Why high IQ makes this even more confusing. Here's where things become especially painful. If you're highly intelligent, you usually understand exactly what needs to be done. You can see the solution, you can explain the process. Sometimes you can even teach other people how to do it. But your ability to understand a task has nothing to do with your brain's ability to activate that task. That's why so many intelligent adults with ADHD experience intense shame. People tell them, "You're so smart. You have so much potential. You could do anything if you just applied yourself." Eventually, you begin believing something must be deeply wrong with you. But intelligence and executive function are not the same thing. Your IQ doesn't eliminate ADHD. In many cases, it simply hides it for longer. The ADHD brain doesn't lack knowledge, it lacks activation. Imagine owning the most powerful sports car in the world. The engine is incredible. The design is flawless. The performance is extraordinary. But every morning, the ignition doesn't work. That's what many adults with ADHD experience. The knowledge is there, the creativity is there, the ideas are there, but activation doesn't happen consistently. The ADHD brain relies heavily on dopamine. Dopamine isn't simply the brain's feel-good chemical. It plays a major role in motivation, reward, anticipation, and initiating action. When dopamine is low, even simple tasks can feel almost impossible to begin, not because they're difficult, but because your brain struggles to generate enough activation to start. This is why ADHD procrastination is very different from ordinary procrastination. It's neurological, not moral. Why you can start some things instantly. One of the biggest misconceptions about ADHD is this: if you can spend 6 hours on a hobby, why can't you answer one email? Because the ADHD brain doesn't respond equally to every task. It responds to interest, novelty, urgency, challenge, immediate reward. This explains why you can spend hours researching something fascinating, yet feel completely unable to complete a routine administrative task that takes 5 minutes. The issue isn't effort, it's brain activation. Understanding this removes an enormous amount of unnecessary guilt. The dangerous cycle of ADHD paralysis. Here's what happens for many adults with ADHD. A task appears, you don't start. The task grows larger in your mind. You begin worrying about it. Now anxiety joins the conversation. You avoid it even more. The deadline gets closer, stress increases. Eventually, panic creates enough urgency for your brain to activate. You finish everything at the last minute. People congratulate you. You always pull it off, but inside, you're exhausted. This cycle repeats for years. Many intelligent adults unknowingly become dependent on crisis because urgency temporarily replaces the dopamine their brain struggles to generate naturally. Living this way is emotionally exhausting. It isn't sustainable, and it has nothing to do with laziness. The shift that changes everything. The biggest breakthrough comes when you stop asking, "Why can't I do this?" and start asking, "What does my ADHD brain need in order to begin?" That question changes everything. Instead of relying on willpower, you begin creating systems. You make the first step ridiculously small. You reduce decision fatigue. You remove unnecessary distractions. You create visual reminders. You lower perfectionism. You celebrate starting instead of waiting until everything is finished. Small beginnings create momentum. Momentum creates dopamine, and dopamine helps create more action. Progress becomes easier because you're finally working with your ADHD brain instead of fighting it every day. Final thoughts. If today's video describes your life, I want you to remember one thing. Being intelligent does not protect you from ADHD. In fact, for many people, high intelligence delays understanding what's really happening. You spend years believing you're lazy, undisciplined, or wasting your potential, when the truth is much simpler. Your brain doesn't need more intelligence. It needs strategies that match the way ADHD actually works. The good news is that once you understand executive dysfunction, ADHD paralysis, task initiation, dopamine, and your own ADHD patterns, everything begins to make sense. You stop fighting yourself, you stop blaming yourself, and you finally begin building a life that works with your brain instead of against it. If you'd like to understand your ADHD more deeply, visit adhd-solution.com, adhd-solution.com. You'll find practical books, audio programs, ADHD resources, and a free ADHD assessment designed to help you identify your unique ADHD patterns. The more you understand how your brain works, the easier it becomes to build a calmer, more productive, and more enjoyable life with ADHD. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe to the channel. Every